Now you've seen this screen 1,000 times. An inventory with some loot. But as a developer, you're not just looking at icons, you're looking at data. Every sword, every helmet, and every pair of boots in your favorite retro game exists because of a list. Without this one simple structure, your player can't carry items, your game can't track data, and your world stays empty. Today, we're going under the hood to turn these items into code. So let's dive in and build our first inventory. And before we can build our first inventory for our hero Magus, we gotta understand what a list is. Well, a list is an ordered collection of items. It is a general purpose container, meaning that you can throw all different types of data into it. Just like we talked about in our previous video, like strings, integers, floats, booleans, etc. And as you saw in the thumbnail, a list can be relative to an inventory in your game. You can also use a list for enemy hordes that are coming as a wave. They're also used in animations to flip in between each animations, and they're also used for tile maps to build out your world. And you can do quite a bit with lists, but there are just a few things I'm going to talk about in this video because I plan on having another video on lists that goes into a deeper explanation of all of the different ways that you can modify them. But some of the things that I'm going to teach you in this video is that you can add items, you can remove items, you can sort the items, you can count how many items are in the list or the inventory, and you can also iterate over the list. And I will show you how to do that in a future video. Alright, so here we are back in our idle shell. And if you don't already have it open, go ahead and open it up right now. And we're going to go ahead and define our inventory. So what we do is type out our inventory variable name. We'll type out inventory equals, add the assignment operator. And to assign an inventory, there's actually two ways that we can do this. The first way, we can do it with these simple square brackets, and that is a valid list. Another way we can do it is we can type out the keyword list, and we put those parentheses right after it. And as you can see, the word list here has changed colors because it is a built-in keyword or built-in function. All right, and those are our two ways to make a list. And this one creates an empty list, but we're not going to create an empty list this time. We're going to create a not empty list. Duh. So go ahead and go back to those square brackets, and inside of our list, we're going to add in some strings. The first is going to be a helmet, and then we hit a comma. Anytime you add multiple things to the list, you have to have a comma in between them. I like to have a space in between the comma and the next value. That way it makes it a little bit easier to read. So the next thing we're going to add in here is sword, and don't forget the comma. Next thing we're going to have, oops, not bots, boots, silly goose. And the last thing we're going to add in here is a limpwort root. And if any of you know where that's from, put a comment down below to let me know where you think that you know where that's from. Because if you do, then we've got some pretty cool people to talk to. All right. So after we do all that, go ahead and hit enter. Now the computer knows that our inventory list has all of those items in it. Now let's say that we wanted to add something to our list. Let's say we picked up some potion on the way down our path. So go ahead and type out the name of the list, which is inventory, and then we're going to type a period right after that, no spaces. And as you can see here, all these little words popped up, and these are all functions or methods that we can do to our list to modify and change it around. But this time we're just going to add something, and we type out append, and this, put the parentheses on the end there because it is a function of the list. Like I said before, all functions have to have these parentheses in order for them to work. So go back inside those parentheses, and we're going to put the value that we want to add in to our list, which is a potion, because that's what we picked up. close it off there, hit enter, and then if we print our inventory to see what we have in there now, we will see that we now have our potion right there at the end. Okay, so if we wanted to remove an item from our list, that is really simple. You just type out the inventory name, the variable name inventory, the period, and then type out remove. Hit those parentheses there, go back inside, and then you type out the exact value that you want to remove. We're going to go ahead and remove that potion because we just drank it. All right, and it has to be the exact way that it is in the list, otherwise you'll get an error. So just to show you that error, if we were to type in potion, and Python is case sensitive, so all these variables are case sensitive. So that's why I say if you type in the wrong thing, even if it's a lowercase versus an uppercase, you're going to get this error, which is value error, X not in the list, or potion with an underscore P is not in the list. So let's do that again. Inventory dot remove, and this time we're going to put in the correct value, which is potion with a capital P, and then enter on that, and no errors. So if we print out our inventory list now, it will show us that the potion is no longer in there. Okay. Now another thing I wanted to show you is to find out, you can find out how many items are in your list or your inventory. And in order to do that, we'll just simply type out print, and we'll put our inventory in here. We'll type out len, which stands for length. And then this is also another function, so we need a pair of parentheses there. We'll go inside the length parentheses, and we type in our list name, which is inventory. Back out, hit enter, and it tells us that we have 4 items in our inventory. Okay, real simple. Now let's say that we wanted to get the item number that our boots were at. Okay, one thing you got to know about counting in programming is that whenever the computer starts counting any iterable or list or whatever, it always starts as 0. And this has always been the case historically, and it's good for mathematical calculations and all that good stuff. And they've just kept it that way because it's easier. So in order to find out which number our boots are in our list, we simply just type out print, and then we put our inventory variable name in there, and then the period, then we type out index, and then a pair of parentheses there. Go back in there go back into the index parentheses, and then we're going to type out the exact value of the boots, which is boots with a capital B. Close that off, make sure it's correct, hit enter on that, and then it will print out 2. Remember what I said before, it always starts at 0. So helmet would be number 0, sword would be number 1, boots is obviously number 2 as it says here. Let's say we wanted to sort our list, but we didn't want to sort our original list, we just wanted to see what it would look like if it were sorted. So the first way to do that is we'll assign another variable, and we will assign it as sorted underscore inventory, and have that equal to, and here's where we type out sorted, and this is the function. Give it a pair of parentheses, go back inside there, and then put our list name, which is inventory, and I'm going to hit enter on that. And now if we print our sorted underscore inventory, then it will show us that all of our inventory items are sorted alphabetically. Now if there were numbers in here, they would be sorted numerically. Okay, and that is just a copy of our initial list. And to confirm that, if we just go in here and we type out our normal inventory here, you'll see that it stays the same way that we assigned it up here. Helmet first, sword, boots, and the limp part root. Alright, the last thing I want to show you is how to sort the inventory list in place, is what they call it, which means you're just sorting the original list. And so we just type out the name of the list variable, which is inventory, and then the period. And then for this one, we just type out sort instead of sorted. Give it a pair of parentheses and hit enter on that. And now our original inventory has been sorted. So to check that, we go ahead and print it out. So print inventory. And as you can see, now that our original inventory has been sorted just like our sorted inventory. Now, there's a few things you got to watch out for, which are index errors, which is a common mistake. And that happens whenever you try to grab a value out of the list that doesn't exist, or you're going over the number of items that are in the list. So to better explain that, I'll show you an example. So let's say that we wanted to get the fourth item of our list. So we need to access that by typing out in the list name and then use these square brackets to get the number, the little special number that gets assigned to each item in our list. And since we have 4 items in our list, we'll go ahead and put 4 right there, because intuitively you would think that that will give us our very last item. And as you can see here, when we hit enter, we got the index error, list index out of range. It's a common error, and don't beat yourself up if you come across that error quite a bit. It is a very, very common error amongst beginners and some senior developers. It happens. And now another thing to note about lists is that they are not very good for speed, because if the list ends up getting really long, then it can take a really long time to search or do whatever calculations you would need on it, because it'd have to go through every single item, and it's just not the best for speed calculations. Now that I've shown you how to build out an inventory, here's a little exercise for you. Take the inventory that we just built and add some of your favorite items from some of the retro games that you've played before, and then post your list in the comments down below. So to recap, in this video, we talked about what a list was and how to use it. We talked about how a list is an ordered collection of items that can hold multiple types of data, and we also talked about how it relates to your inventory in your game. And we also demonstrating adding items, removing items, counting how many items are in your inventory, sorting the items in our inventory, and also getting a sorted copy of our inventory or list. So if you like this tutorial, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, or you just want to say, hey, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. And get ready for the next video in this series, where we will be giving our hero Magus some stats to work with using dictionaries. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.